Okay, this is kind of a general discussion on some preliminary stuff that we need to discuss before we get going on all of the projects that I want you to do. In this particular case, I want everybody to get yourself a 3-ring binder like this. Doesn't have to be elaborate. This one's 1.25 inches. But what it's important for is that you need to be able to get yourself some plastic sleeves like this in order to keep your assignments in. This is an example here of the first assignment that you'll be asked to do, which is the clippings of colors from magazines. And we'll be showing this one shortly, but it's the red, blue, yellow, or red, yellow, blue example. And then when you get the dimensions on all of this and everything, I want everybody to label theirs in the upper left-hand corner and put your name in the lower left-hand corner like this. So what we're going to be talking about next here is how to dimension the boards. Now the first 2 assignments, both assignment 1 and assignments number 2.2 or 2 part 2 and 2 part 3 can be done using cardstock rather. Illustration board will be for the later ones. You may end up with illustration board that's cut from much larger sheets like this, and in which case you're going to need to cut it down in order for them to fit inside of the plastic sleeves that you can see here. You're going to want to cut your board dimensions down to 9.5 by 10.5. The illustration board that you get, some of the basic sizes, the first ones are 9 by 12, but they may also come in larger sheets, much like these, which are 20 by 30 or 30 by 40, in which case you'll need to cut them down. In order to do that, I would highly recommend that everybody get some kind of a sacrificial surface, kind of like this cutting mat, and use your X-Acto knife and a straight edge like these here, because you don't want to be doing these on your dining room table, because you're going to really scar things up. These things really cause some deep cuts. So make sure that you get a cutting mat in order to do that. As I said, you're going to want to create boards, whether it's with the cardstock or the illustration board, which are 9.5 inches by 10.5 inches. That's going to be necessary to fit inside of the sleeves for the 3-ring binder. In order to find the center of the board, you don't really need to do any measuring. It's really easy to do. In order to find the center of the board, what you have to do is have a large straight edge like this. This is a great big 30-60 triangle. You can do it with a big ruler too, but what you want to do is you want to position the straight edge itself from corner to corner of the board, and then find the center and just strike a very light pencil line in the middle, and again corner to corner across the board, and a very light pencil line at the center. I'm not sure if you can see it in the cameras here that I have set up, but where these 2 lines intersect, that's the center of the board. This will prevent you from having to go through things like taking a scale ruler and going, well, what's the half of 8.5? Well, that's 4.25. You don't have to do that. You don't have to measure anything. Again, placing the straight edge across the board corner to corner in both directions will determine the center of the board for you. This is important because all of the assignments have the dimensions for everything centered about the middle of the board. Okay, this one, they're centered about the middle of the board. This one, it's again a center in the middle of the board. The color wheels that are be coming up later using the illustration board will be centered about the middle of the board. So you're going to need to know right off the bat how to find the middle of whatever it is that you're going to be using for these early assignments that we're going to be doing by hand and finding the middle of your board. Anyway, so that's the basics on determining the middle of the board. I wanted to get that first out of the way, and we'll carry on from there. Okay? All for now. Talk to you again.